Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today's our topic is anti-anginal drugs. And I am Dr. Nilofer Yusuf Adaish, Assistant Professor from Department of Pharmacology. At the end of the lecture, you people should have complete knowledge of what is angina, what are various types of angina, and complete knowledge of anti-anginal drugs. You should be knowing their classification, their clinical uses, and their various adverse effects. First of all, what is angina? Angina pectoris. Angina is actually meaning pain, and pectoris means chest. It means pain in chest is actually angina pectoris. Severe chest pain due to inadequate coronary blood flow to supply oxygen required by heart, and the tissue ischemia is caused by accumulation of metabolites in the striated muscles. That means there is two reasons for pain associated with chest. One, there is inadequate oxygen supply, blood supply, and there is decreased oxygen supply. This is a diagram showing heart and its normal supply. There is a saying, the heart never stops. When it stops forever. However, our modern medicine disapproves this saying. What are different determinants of myocardial oxygen demand? Why we need oxygen? What are various factors due to which oxygen is demanded? There are major and minor factors. Major are wall stress, which are determined by intraventricular pressure, ventricular radius, wall thickness, afterload and preload. Whereas heart rate contractility also determines myocardial oxygen demand. Minor factors are activation energy and resting metabolism. Coronary flow or diastolic period may be affected by increased heart rate, increased ventricular and diastolic pressure, and reduced diastolic arterial pressure. Pathophysiology of angina pectoris. What happens in normal heart? Whenever oxygen demand is increased, it is met by increased coronary blood flow. Whereas coronary blood flow is inversely proportional to coronary vascular resistance, which is determined by autonomic activity, metabolic products, or injury. Determinants of vascular tone are arterial and venous. Arterial tone determines our systolic wall stress, whereas venous tone determines diastolic wall stress. In short, arterial and venous tone both play a major role in determining myocardial wall stress. There is imbalance in oxygen demand and supply. We know that. What happens in angina? There is inadequate supply of oxygen. Tissue is not properly perfused. How is it be correct? How we can correct it? How is it be corrected? Simply by decreasing the oxygen demand, by decreasing cardiac work, by shifting myocardial metabolism to substrates that require less oxygen per unit of ATP produced, and by increasing oxygen delivery to the heart, by increasing coronary blood flow. After looking at this diagram, what you people think, what is happening? Take a second and think over it. Yes, it's a type of thing. Over here, vasodilatation type thing is being shown, how vascular smooth muscle is relaxed. Let's see. Calcium influx in the cell ultimately leads to the contraction. ठीक है जी? When we block calcium influx, it leads to finally relaxation of the vascular wall, vascular cell, smooth muscle. And what beta 2 agonists are doing, they are also relaxing the vascular smooth muscle. Here what's happening? Nitrates are being converted into nitric oxide, and guanylene cyclase is being converted, is acting upon GTP and converting into cGMP. When cGMP, cyclic GMP is released, what happens? It inhibits, it causes dephosphorylation of myosin light chains. क्या कह रहे हैं cGMP? Dephosphorylation of myosin light chains, hence preventing the interaction of myosin with actin and resulting into relaxation of the vascular smooth muscle. How vascular smooth muscle is relaxed? Arterial and venous tone both play a major role in determining myocardial wall stress, as discussed before. Arterial tone increases peripheral vascular resistance that increases afterload, whereas venous tone increases venous return and also preload. Thus, by causing vascular smooth muscle relaxation in arterioles and venules, we can decrease afterload and preload respectively. We use various drugs to relax vascular smooth muscle in several ways. By increasing cyclic GMP. Cyclic GMP causes dephosphorylation of myosin light chains, hence preventing the interaction of myosin with actin. Nitric oxide is an activator of guanylene cyclase that increases cyclic GMP. Important donors of nitric oxide include nitrates and nitrites. Then comes the decreasing intracellular calcium. Calcium channel blockers directly and beta blockers indirectly decrease calcium influx in cardiac muscle, causing reduced heart contractility and thus reduced oxygen demand. Calcium channel blockers cause arterial vasodilatation by decreasing calcium influx, that is a major modulator of activation of myosin light chain kinase. By stabilizing membranes. By stabilizing membranes, by preventing depolarization of vascular smooth muscle cells membrane, by increasing potassium permeability. The membrane is stabilized near the resting membrane potential and becomes less excitable. By increasing cyclic AMP. Increase in cyclic AMP in the vascular cells, increasing the rate of inactivation of myosin light chain kinase, the enzyme that triggers the interaction of actin with myosin. So these are various mechanisms by which our vascular smooth muscle is being relaxed. Coming back to ischemic heart diseases, angina pectoris. There are three different types of angina. Classical angina, which is also atherosclerotic angina or angina of effort. Then comes the angina, spastic angina, variant or Prinzmental angina. Unstable angina, acute coronary syndrome or angina at rest. Classical angina or angina of effort. There is atheromatous obstruction of larger coronaries. There is imbalance when demand increases. Coin flow does not increase proportionately. It leads to ischemia, and ischemia causes pain. Not always, but it may be sometimes silent. Variant angina. Vasospastic angina, transit spans or localized portions of blood vessels associated with underlying atheroma. Decreased oxygen delivery due to reversible coronary vasospasm. There is change character, frequency and duration of chest pain in patients with previously stable angina. Episodes of increased epicardial coronary artery tone. Platelet clots also occur in vicinity of plaques. Labile non-occlusive thrombi from fissure plaque reduce flow with high risk of myocardial infarction and death. In myocardium during stress, oxygen depth cannot develop 75% oxygen extraction due to continuous activity. Oxygen requirement is increased with increase in heart rate, increase in contractility, increase in arterial pressure and ventricular volume. Then what happens? Increased sympathetic discharge during exercise also causes angina. In pathological conditions, even minor determinants become important. How should we treat angina? What are various principles of therapy of angina? Most primarily, we should there should be modification of risk factors. ठीक है जी, which are smoking. We should a patient should quit smoking. Conditions like hypertension, hyperlipidemia, and obesity should be treated. Decrease in myocardial oxygen demand, increase in coronary blood flow, which will decrease ischemia and further prevent conditions like myocardial infarction by using antiplatelets, lipid-lowering drugs, ACE inhibitors. Drug groups for angina pectoris are organic nitrates, calcium channel blockers, beta blockers, as we just discussed, and fatty acid oxidation inhibitors. All vasodilators are not effective in angina, and conversely, some useful agents in angina are not vasodilators. Have time and look at the diagram given. What's happening? See, we discussed in the previous slide we said that three major groups are being used for the treatment of angina. Nitrates, how nitrates are acting? They just increase the venous capacitance and then further decreases venous return, preload. Whereas beta blockers are decreasing heart rate contractility. Calcium antagonists, calcium channel blockers, they're decreasing arterial resistance and then decreasing, leading to decreased afterload. What are various preparations of nitrates? Glyceryl trinitrate is the most widely used organic nitrate. It is well absorbed orally but undergo extensive first-pass metabolism in the liver to inactivate metabolites. Usually, glyceryl trinitrate is given by one of the three routes to avoid first-pass effect and hence increases its bioavailability. It is given sublingually as a tablet. Its effect begins after 1 to 2 minutes and lasts 18 to 20 minutes. There are also sprays. A meter dose aerosol spray is equally effective and more stable. They are transdermal patches. Glyceryl trinitrate is absorbed well through the skin and can be delivered from an adhesive patch by a rate-limited membrane or matrix. The anti-anginal effect is stable for at least 24 hours. And then there are intravenous influence. These are various preparations of glycerin trinitrate which come into the market. Commonly used in prodrug is isosorbide dinitrate. When patients come with complaint of angina in emergencies, most of them are given Asuket. Commonly used. Summarizing, nitrates undergo extensive first-pass metabolism except mononitrate, and mononitrate have 100% bioavailability. They are mostly given sublingually, but other routes are also practiced like intravenously, dermal patches, buccal route. If we are giving nitrates orally in the form of oral drugs, so we have to decrease their dose to limit their side effects. Active metabolite is isosorbide mononitrate. Clinical effects of nitrates in angina of effort. Nitrates increase caliber of epicardial coronary arteries. They decrease coronary artery resistance and leading to increased coronary blood flow, but might not relieve angina of effort because vasodilatation leads to coronary steal phenomena and may aggravate angina of effort. What is coronary steal syndrome phenomena? Coronary steal, with its symptoms termed coronary steal syndrome or cardiac steal syndrome, is a phenomena where an alteration of circulation pattern leads to a reduction in blood flow directed to the coronary circulation. What was happening in angina? There was already decreased blood flow. If coronary steal phenomena occurs due to vasodilatation, there will be there will be less supply of blood to the coronary. That's happening now. So क्या होगा? It will aggravate the situation instead of treating it. Usual systemic route पे अगर हो तो क्या होगा? Decrease coronary blood flow, but produces systemic hemodynamic effects that are decreased venous return, leading to decreased intracardial volume, decreased arterial pressure, leading to decreased intraventricular pressure, decreased ventricular volume, leading to decreased wall tension, decreased myocardial oxygen demand, and finally relief of angina. In variant angina, we are giving nitrates. They are relaxing smooth muscle of epicardial coronary arteries and decreasing the spasm. In unstable angina, nitrates decrease coronary tone and oxygen demand, decrease platelet aggregation and decrease platelet thrombi. Beneficial effect of nitrates in angina are they decrease ventricular volume, they decrease arterial pressure, they decrease ejection time, leading to decreased myocardial oxygen requirements. Coil spasm has also been decreased, leading to coronary vasodilation. Collateral flow is increased, thus leading to increased perfusion. Decreased left ventricular diastolic pressure, increasing subendocardial perfusion. Therapeutic uses of nitrates are classical angina, variant angina, unstable angina, hypertensive emergencies, acute and chronic, CCF, and cyanide poisoning. Adverse effects. There are two kinds of adverse effects. One are acute adverse effects, which are direct extension of therapeutic vasodilation, whereas there are adverse effects due to chronic use. Acute adverse effects include postural hypotension, reflex tachycardia, thrombing headache, and these are rationales for the acute adverse effects. You should cram them, memorize them, जैसे भी करना है करें. They are more than important for the MCQs as well as SCQs. You may get a SCQ as how nitrates cause postural hypotension. What's the rationale of nitrates causing reflex tachycardia? ठीक है? You can be asked reason for these adverse effects. Let's go ahead. Postural hypotension is caused by decreased venous tone increases, pooling of blood in legs. Sorry. Then reflex tachycardia through activation of vasoreceptors causing increased sympathetic CNS discharge. Thrombing headache is very common. That is due to vasodilatation in cerebral blood vessels. So it is contraindicated, means it is not used. Contraindicated. ठीक है जी? Not used in increased intracranial pressure. And if we use chronically nitrates, so it will lead to tolerance. Monday disease. What is Monday disease? What happens in Monday disease? Workers working in industries or where nitrates are in large amounts, what happens? They get headache. As we discussed before, they causes vasodilation. ठीक है? So what happens? They due to vasodilation, they cerebral blood vessels vasodilation. That's why they get headache. On Monday they get headache, Tuesday, Wednesday, and by the end of the week they get tolerant. ठीक है? Against the effect of nitrates, so headache diminish or subsides. But when they go home on Sunday, enjoy their holiday, and after holiday come back to work on Monday, they again get headache. So this is the Monday disease. We thoroughly studied how nitrates are working in angina, subsiding angina. Now calcium channel blockers, as I have shown you the picture before, how calcium channel blockers are working in relaxing the vascular smooth muscle. What they do, they decrease myocardial contractile force, thus decreasing oxygen requirement. They decrease calcium entry in arterial smooth muscle, thus decreasing arterial tone. They decrease systemic vascular resistance, leading to decreased arterial and intraventricular pressure. They also have some non-specific anti-adrenergic effects, leading to vasodilatation. Decreased left ventricular wall stress decreases oxygen demand. Decreased heart rate by diltiazem, verapamil, Bepredil. They also decrease coronary artery spasm. Thus concluding that we have to treat two things. We have to correct angina by decreasing oxygen demand and increasing coronary blood flow or blood supply to the heart. Look over here how they are doing. They are decreasing arterial resistance and then leading to decreased afterload. Beta blockers in angina decrease heart rate, decrease blood pressure, and decrease contractility. leading to decreased oxygen demand in rest and during exercise. They increase diastolic time, and if diastolic time is increased, what happens? More time is given to further perfusion of myocardium. मतलब के they are increasing. There is an increase in myocardial perfusion. Favorable redistribution of coronary blood flow. Then IMP leading to increase in diastolic volume and increased ejection time for here's a table showing effects of nitrates alone and with combination with beta blockers or calcium channel blockers in angina. Classical angina or angina of effort. All drugs increase exercise tolerance are used for maintenance therapy of chronic stable angina. Patient with increased BP treat with beta blockers or calcium channel blockers, whereas normotensives are given long-acting nitrates. Combinations of beta blockers plus nifedipine or nifedipine plus verapamil or nitrates plus beta blocker more effective. If none of them works, then we have to go for surgery. Variant angina. In variant angina, nitrates and calcium blockers relieve and prevent ischemic episodes, and they relieve spasm. In unstable angina, all three of the groups can be given: nitrates, beta blockers, calcium blockers, along with aspirin, clopidogrel, clopidogrel, low molecular weight heparin, and in the end, if none of the above works, then myocardial revascularization. Unstable angina, acute coronary syndromes. Aggressive antiplatelet therapy with a combination of aspirin and clopidogrel is indicated. Intravenous heparin or subcutaneous low molecular weight heparin is also indicated in most patients. If PCI with stenting is required, glycoprotein 2B and 3A inhibitors such as ibexizumab should be added. Heart favors fatty acids as a substrate for energy production. Fatty acid oxidation requires more oxygen per unit ATP generation as compared to oxidation of carbohydrates. In the start of the lecture, we said that we should shift the heart metabolism to such conditions where less oxygen is required. So drugs that shift myocardial metabolism towards greater use of glucose have potential of reducing the oxygen demand without altering hemodynamics. So for this purpose, we will use fatty acid oxidation inhibitors such as ranelozam, trimetazidine, ACE inhibitors also reduce the risk of adverse cardiac events in patients at high risk for coronary artery disease, although they have not been consistently shown to exert anti-anginal effects. In patients where is an unstable angina along with non-ST segment elevation, myocardial infarction, aggressive therapy consisting of coronary stenting, anti-lipid drugs, heparin, antiplatelet agents is recommended. We should always remember ABC to keep our heart healthy. Avoid the tobacco, be more active, and choose good nutrition. Thank you, kids. This is your today's assignment. These are 2 MCQs you have to solve. and answer in your WhatsApp group before your time finishes, before 9:30. And then you have to write the answer, question number, complete illustration of question number 3, which is explain mechanism of actions of nitrates with help of a diagram. Always be thankful to Allah. Okay? A thankful heart is a happy heart. If we are thankful to Allah for His blessings and our current situation, we'll be the happiest person in this world. Thank you.